but instead I just took her little face in between my hands as the countdown reached 15. People were counting down already as I leaned my face into hers. Understanding finally dawned across her face as the crowd chanted the seconds away. And then she fucking smiled at me big and full of teeth, and all of her radiance and beauty beaming right at my face, and holy fucking Christ, had I missed the sight of it. Her eyes were shining with something akin to relief and happiness, and brimming with the unconditional love that she felt for me, but I wasn't looking away this time. I wanted her to have it. And I needed to do it. The tugging had subsided, but I could still feel the need to be closer. I put my lips barely against hers and closed my eyes as the countdown reached 10, and I could feel her fucking struggling to hold the smile back so she could kiss me right, but it was so big that she barely could. And I just fucking smiled against her lips too. Because how could I not when she smiled like that? At me, for me, because of me. I grabbed her face from her, stroking her cheeks with my thumbs and tangling my fingers into the soft hair behind her ears, and struggling to wait for the last second to put my full force on her lips and kiss her fucking senseless to ease the tugging. I didn't even bother with the bullshit soft kisses. When the countdown finally hit 1, I just fucking plunged my tongue in between her smiling lips as the need to be closer to her completely overcame me, and she accepted it with an enthusiasm that made me weak in the knees as she dove her fingers into my hair and pulled my face closer to deepen the kiss and push her tongue into my mouth. My movements grew frantic as my breath sped up, and I pushed against her tongue frenziedly and pressed against her body. There were loud booming fireworks in the background, and that stupid fucking New Year's song, Auld Lang Syne. But I couldn't hear or feel anything but my girl pressed against me so fucking tightly that the ring nestled between my t-shirt and my skin was pressing painfully against my scarred chest. She gripped my leather jacket with one fist, pulling me and moving her tongue against mine just as fiercely. I pressed my body impossibly closer while I urgently pressed against her tongue with mine. She was so fucking sandwiched between me and that beam that I knew it had to hurt, but she just kept pulling me closer and tilting her head to deepen the kiss further. My head was thick and fuzzy with lust as I pushed into her hips with mine. But there was something else with it. And I was pulling and tugging and pressing and being too fucking rough with my girl. But I couldn't restrain the need to possess her completely. To just fucking crawl inside of her and never leave. And the raw feeling that it ignited within me made me fucking whimper into her mouth as I tugged her hair. It was something so fucking new and alien and more intense than anything I had ever felt before. I didn't know what name to give it. I couldn't discern anything from the raw need to be closer to her. I had no way of knowing how close it was to the love I had been desperately seeking, but I knew it was on a completely new level for me, a level above simple caring and friendship and adoration, and even lust. And I fucking basked in it, nearly laughing into her mouth as the complete euphoria of the foreign emotion filled me to the brim. Instead of questioning it, I just fucking poured that new emotion into our kiss. Whatever it was, I gave it to her completely, hoping and fucking praying she could feel it and maybe tell me what it was and if it was good enough for her. And as my kiss grew impossibly more urgent with the foreign emotion I was forcing behind it, she whimpered back into my mouth breathlessly. And then we were both breathing raggedly and panting our hot breath into each other's mouths, pulling and tugging and pressing as we continue our frenzied kiss in the dark cover of the same gazebo where it all fucking began. I was so completely terrified that if I pulled away from her kiss that it would leave and I'd never feel it again. But I needed air so fucking badly. So I grudgingly ripped my lips away and began gulping in the cold December air, but my girl kept kissing me up and down my neck and littering my throat with her hot, wet kisses. And it was still fucking there. I laughed breathlessly at the wooden beam in front of me as I held her head to my neck tightly, still fucking basking in it. She probably thought I was fucking insane, but she never pulled away from my neck to tell me, so I kept laughing and panting as she trailed the kisses up my throat and to my cheeks and chin and just fucking everywhere. And once I had caught my breath enough to do so, I gave her all the kisses back, grabbing her face between my hands and scattering tiny kisses around her little cheekbones as she still smiled at me radiantly and tugged my hair closer. I used all my kisses and my eyes, and my smiles to finally fucking show her mine. I didn't know what mine was yet, but it was there. And it made her smile and chuckle around my lips with each kiss that I planted on her overheated skin. And when I had every inch of her beautiful face covered, I wrapped my arms around her tiny waist and held her against me firmly. She chuckled breathlessly once again, and returned my embrace with vigor. Exhausted from the kiss, I dropped my face onto her shoulder, turning so that I could rest my lips against the warm skin of her neck, and smiled into it joyously. It was hands down the happiest fucking moment of my entire existence.